What if I told you that the secret to that youthful glow everyone keeps complimenting you on has almost nothing to do with your skincare routine? What if the reason you look 10 years younger than the people you went to high school with isn't tucked away in a bottle of expensive serum, but hidden deep inside your own head? Most people think aging is just something that happens to your skin. They think it's just gravity and genes, but if you look closer at the world, you'll see people who are 25 but look like they've already given up on life, and people who are 60 but seem to have a light behind their eyes that makes them look ageless. The psychologist Carl Jung had a lot to say about this, even if he wasn't trying to sell you a face cream. He understood that our faces are eventually just maps of our souls. If you look younger than your age, it's usually because you've unknowingly mastered a few psychological life hacks that most people miss. You've managed to keep your spirit from getting crusty. You've kept your mind flexible. And today, we're going to look at the 5 real reasons you're staying young, and how it's actually a sign that you're doing the inner work better than most. Let's go straight into the first reason, and it starts with the mask you wear every day. 1. You refuse to become a cardboard cutout. Carl Jung talked a lot about something called the persona. Think of your persona as a mask. It's the version of yourself you show to the world to fit in. It's the professional employee, the good parent, or the responsible citizen. Most people, as they get older, get stuck in their mask. They start to believe they are the mask. They stop being a human being and start being a role. You've seen them, people who speak in corporate, even at dinner, or people who have lost their personality to their job title. When you become a cardboard cutout of a person, you start to look like one. You get stiff. Your expressions become predictable. Your face loses its juice because you've stopped reacting to the world as a person and started reacting as a machine. If you look young, it's likely because you've kept a distance between who you are and what you do. You might have a serious job, but you don't take the role seriously. You've kept your humanness intact. You still have those weird hobbies, that silly sense of humor, and that spark that says, I'm just a person playing a part. Stoicism calls this internal focus. You realize that your job or your status isn't you. Because you aren't carrying the heavy weight of a fake identity, your face doesn't have to strain to hold that mask up. You're relaxed, and a relaxed face is a young face. 2. You never killed your inner child, the puer alternes. We're told that growing up means putting away childish things. We're told we need to be serious, stern, and focused on the grind. But Jung identified an archetype called the puer alternes, the eternal child. Now, some people get stuck in this in a bad way and never grow up at all. But the life hack version, the version you likely have, is keeping the spirit of the child alive while having the mind of an adult. Think about how a child looks at a ladybug or a cool rock. They are completely present. Their eyes are wide. They are capable of being surprised. Most adults have lost the ability to be surprised. They think they've seen it all. They walk through the world with a been there, done that attitude. This mental jadedness shows up as deep lines of cynicism around the mouth and a dullness in the eyes. If you look young, it's because you still find things cool. You still get excited about a new hobby, a funny movie, or a beautiful sunset. You haven't let the world bore you. That sense of wonder keeps your nervous system in a state of play rather than a state of survival. When your brain is playing, it's producing chemicals that keep you feeling and looking vibrant. You didn't grow up, you just leveled up while keeping the original joy of the game. 3. You have a high emotional metabolism. This is where the psychology gets really deep. We all experience trauma, stress, and sadness. That's just part of being alive. But most people store their emotions. They don't know how to process them, so they just pack them away in their body. Jung called this the shadow. All the things we don't want to face, our anger, our grief, our regrets, get pushed down. But here's the thing. Those emotions act like literal weights. If you're carrying 20 years of unspoken anger at your parents or regret over an old job, that weight is going to pull on your features. It makes your jaw tight. It makes your brow furrowed. It makes you look heavy. If you look young, it's often a sign that you have a high emotional metabolism. You process things. You cry when you need to cry. You say what you need to say. You don't let old stuff sit in your system and rot. From a Stoic perspective, this is about letting go of what you cannot control. You don't waste energy holding on to the past. You forgive people, not because they deserve it, but because you don't want to carry their luggage anymore. By staying emotionally light, you keep your face from being a record book of old grudges. You look fresh because emotionally, you are fresh. You've emptied the trash, while everyone else is living in a house full of old box. 4. You don't try to control the uncontrollable. There is nothing that ages a person faster than the stress of trying to control the world. Think about the most stressed out person you know. They are constantly worried about the economy, the news, what their neighbor thinks of them, and whether or not it's going to rain on their parade. They are in a constant state of fight or flight. Their cortisol levels are through the roof. Cortisol is the enemy of youth. It literally breaks down collagen. It thins the skin. It makes you look hollow and tired. The Stoics had a life hack for this: the dichotomy of control. They believed you should only care about things you can actually change. Everything else? It's just preferred or unpreferred indifferent. If you look younger than your age, you've likely adopted this mindset, even if you didn't know the name for it. You've learned how to shrug. When the car breaks down or the project fails, you don't have a meltdown. You don't let your body go into an emergency state. You just say, "Well, that happened. What's the next step?" Because you aren't constantly flooding your body with stress hormones over things you can't change, your skin and your heart stay younger. You aren't aging in the heat of constant worry. You're cool, calm, and collected. You've realized that most of the things people freak out about don't actually matter in the long run. That peace of mind is better than any plastic surgery. 5. You are individuating. You are becoming yourself. Jung's big idea was individuation. It's a fancy word for a simple thing: becoming the person you were actually meant to be instead of a copy of everyone else. Most people spend their 30s, 40s, and 50s trying to look like what society says they should look like. They buy the adult clothes, they take the adult vacations, and they suppress their weirdness to fit in. They are trying to be a standardized human. But when you try to be someone you're not, there is a constant friction in your soul. That friction is exhausting. It drains your energy. It makes you look dim. People who look young are often the ones who have embraced their own weird. They've stopped trying to look like the magazines and started looking like themselves. There is a specific kind of beauty and youthfulness that comes from authenticity. When you are being yourself, you are in flow. You have more energy. You have a natural glow because you aren't wasting any power on a lie. You might wear bright colors when everyone else is in beige. You might still listen to the music you loved at 18. You might have a career that doesn't make sense to your family. But because you are living your life, your body isn't fighting itself. You are integrated, as Jung would say. And an integrated person always looks more vibrant than a fragmented one. I want to take a second to say, thank you for being the kind of person who cares about these deeper things. In a world that only looks at the surface, you're here trying to understand the why behind the what. If this conversation feels like it's describing you or the person you're trying to become, please consider subscribing to the channel. We're building a community here for the observers, the thinkers, and the people who know that life is about more than just checking boxes. And if you've noticed these traits in yourself, or if you have a specific ritual that keeps your spirit young, I'd love for you to share it in the comments. We learn so much from each other's stories, but we aren't done yet. Because while these 5 reasons explain why you look young, there's actually a deeper Stoic secret that ties all of this together. A way of looking at time itself that can actually stop the clock in your mind. Think about your relationship with time for a second. Do you feel like you're running out of it? Do you feel like you're behind in life? That feeling of being behind is one of the biggest psychological aging factors there is. It creates a hurry sickness. It makes you rush through your days, never actually tasting your food or hearing your friends. The Stoics taught us to live in the present moment, not as a cliché, but as a practical tool. They believe that the past is gone and the future doesn't exist yet. The only thing that is real is the very second you are in right now. When you live in the now, you stop the aging process of regret and anxiety. You become timeless. You start to realize that age is just a number on a piece of paper, but life is a quality of your attention. If you can master the art of being where you are, you'll find that the world starts to treat you differently. You won't just look younger. You'll feel like you've tapped into a fountain of energy that most people have forgotten exists. You've already started this journey just by being here. You've started to look under the hood of your own psychology. That curiosity alone is a sign of a young heart. So, before we move on to how you can apply this tomorrow morning, take a second to just be happy with yourself. You've done a lot of hard work to get to this point. You've survived the pressures to fit in and grow up in all the wrong ways. You're doing great. Stay right here. Don't go anywhere. Because in the next part of this, we're going to talk about the shadow work ritual that can literally clear the tiredness from your eyes in a single weekend. It's not magic. It's just the power of a clean soul. Take a breath. You're doing better than you think. And I'll see you in the next part of the video.